What I'm about to show you is going to make you question every meal you've eaten this week. And when I reveal food number 1, the deadliest one that's sitting in almost every senior's kitchen right now, you're going to understand why thousands of people end up in emergency rooms every year with blood pressure so dangerously high that their organs are shutting down. I'm Dr. Sandra Whitmore, and I need to tell you something that might save your life today. That food you ate this morning, there's a 70% chance it just added 20 points to your blood pressure. Not slightly elevated it, catastrophically spiked it. And here's what terrifies me most. Right now, somewhere, a senior is eating what they think is a healthy breakfast, following advice their doctor gave them, trusting the labels on the package. And that food is silently destroying their arteries, thickening their blood, pushing their pressure so high that a stroke could happen within hours. I've been a cardiologist for 23 years, and I've seen this scenario destroy lives. But here's what almost no one talks about. The food isn't always the obvious culprit. It's not just salt. It's not just fried chicken. Some of these foods are marketed as healthy. Some are recommended by nutritionists. Some are sitting in the health food section of your grocery store right now with labels that say heart healthy or doctor approved. And they're killing you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what those 10 foods are. But more importantly, you'll understand why food number 1 is so catastrophic that it can spike your blood pressure by 40 points within 2 hours. Enough to trigger a hypertensive crisis that could put you in intensive care. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I can show you food number 1, you need to understand something about blood pressure that changes everything. Something that your doctor probably never explained because they don't have time, because the system is broken, because nobody's teaching this in medical school. Stay with me because what happens in the next 15 minutes will transform how you think about every bite of food you put in your mouth. Let me tell you about Margaret first, because her story is going to reveal food number 10, and it's going to surprise you how something so innocent, so common, so accepted can create such dangerous spikes in blood pressure. Margaret was 71, a retired librarian, meticulous about her health. She checked her blood pressure every morning. She took her medications faithfully. She thought she was doing everything right. For years, her readings were controlled. 135/82, not perfect, but manageable. Her doctor was satisfied. Everything was under control. Then something changed. Over 3 weeks, her morning readings started climbing. 145/88, then 152/92, then 158/94. She was terrified. Was her medication failing? Was she having a hypertensive crisis? She called her doctor, convinced she needed emergency intervention. But here's what Margaret didn't know. And here's what makes food number 10 so insidious. She hadn't changed anything about her medications. She hadn't stopped exercising. She'd changed one thing about her breakfast routine. 3 weeks earlier, Margaret's daughter had brought her a gift from Whole Foods, a case of organic cold-pressed vegetable juice. Green juice, the kind that costs $8 a bottle, the kind that celebrities drink, the kind with labels covered in words like detox and cleanse and superfood. Margaret's daughter meant well. She'd read articles about how vegetable juice could lower blood pressure, how it was packed with nutrients, how drinking it every morning could add years to your life. So Margaret started drinking 1 bottle every morning with breakfast. A full 16-ounce bottle of organic green vegetable juice. Except here's what was happening. That juice, even though it was organic, even though it was cold-pressed, even though the label said no salt added, was absolutely loaded with sodium. Not added sodium, natural sodium. Because vegetables contain sodium. And when you juice them, when you concentrate them, when you remove all the fiber and pulp and pack the liquid into a bottle, you're concentrating that sodium. One 16-ounce bottle of that vegetable juice contained 680 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly a third of Margaret's entire daily sodium allowance. And she was drinking it every single morning, thinking it was healthy. But here's where it gets worse, and this is the part that leads us toward the really dangerous foods. Margaret's blood pressure wasn't just elevated from the sodium. It was elevated from something called the sodium spike effect. When you consume a large amount of sodium all at once, especially on an empty stomach or early in the morning, your blood pressure doesn't rise gradually. It spikes, suddenly, dramatically. Your blood vessels constrict. Your heart has to pump harder. Your kidneys struggle to filter the excess sodium. And within 30 minutes to 2 hours, your blood pressure can jump 20, 30, even 40 points. Margaret's actual baseline blood pressure was still 135/82, but she was measuring it 2 hours after drinking that juice, right when the sodium spike was peaking. So she was seeing 158/94. Her doctor, trusting her home readings, increased her medication, added a second blood pressure pill. Now her actual blood pressure, the one that existed most of the day when she wasn't having a sodium spike, dropped to 102/64. She started feeling dizzy, weak, confused. She nearly fainted getting out of bed one morning. All because of a food marketed as healthy. All because nobody told her that vegetable juice, even the organic kind, even the expensive kind, can be a blood pressure bomb. The rule is simple, but absolutely non-negotiable. If you have high blood pressure, you cannot drink your vegetables in juice form. You need to eat them whole. The fiber slows absorption. The volume fills you up so you can't consume as much. The sodium is diluted. One bottle of juice might contain the concentrated nutrients and sodium of 6 celery stalks, 3 cucumbers, 2 beets, a handful of spinach. Could you sit down and eat all of that in one sitting? No. But you can drink it in 5 minutes without even thinking about it. But here's what I need you to understand before we move to food number 9. And this is crucial. Food number 10 was innocent. Margaret had no idea. But food number 9 is one that people eat intentionally, every single day, thinking it's good for their blood pressure. And it spikes pressure by 15 to 25 points every single time. I'm going to tell you what food number 9 is in a moment. But first, I need to show you something that's going to change how you think about blood pressure and food forever. There's a reason hospitals monitor blood pressure so carefully after meals. There's a reason cardiologists ask detailed questions about what you eat. It's not just about sodium. It's about understanding that blood pressure is the most sensitive vital sign we have. It responds to everything. The type of food, the timing of food, the combination of foods, how processed it is, how much sugar it contains, whether you're sitting or standing when you eat it. Everything matters. Let me tell you about Harold, because Harold's story is going to reveal something that almost no one knows about how food affects blood pressure. Harold was 76, a retired postal worker, obsessive about following medical advice. His doctor told him to eat heart-healthy whole grains. So Harold ate oatmeal every single morning, instant oatmeal, the kind that comes in packets. Convenient, quick, heavily advertised as heart-healthy. For 18 months, same routine, same breakfast, same time. His blood pressure readings were climbing. 142/86, then 148/90, then 155/92. Same medications, same timing, same adherence. What was happening? His doctor ran tests. Kidney function normal, no new stressors, no obvious dietary indiscretions. The mystery deepened for 4 months until I asked Harold one simple question. What brand of oatmeal are you eating? And that's when he showed me the box. Instant oatmeal, maple and brown sugar flavor. Individually packaged. Heart-healthy whole grain stamp right on the front. Food number 9. Flavored instant oatmeal and instant breakfast cereals. Harold was eating 2 packets every morning because one didn't fill him up. Each packet contained 260 milligrams of sodium. 2 packets, 520 milligrams, plus 24 grams of added sugar. That's 6 teaspoons of sugar every morning, before 7 a.m. Here's why this is catastrophic. And this is important because it reveals how blood pressure responds to more than just sodium. When you eat that much sugar first thing in the morning, your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin causes your kidneys to retain sodium. It also causes your blood vessels to constrict. Blood pressure rises. Then the sodium from the oatmeal kicks in. More vasoconstriction, more fluid retention, more pressure. The combination is devastating. Harold wasn't just getting sodium. He was getting a sugar-sodium bomb delivered directly into his system every morning. His blood vessels didn't stand a chance. I had him switch to plain steel-cut oats. No sugar, no salt, just oats with fresh berries and a drizzle of honey. 3 weeks later, his morning blood pressure readings dropped to 136/84, 9 points systolic, 6 points diastolic, just from changing his oatmeal. But here's what Harold's story teaches us, and this is critical for understanding the foods that are coming. Blood pressure doesn't respond to one thing, it responds to combinations: sugar plus sodium, fat plus sodium, processed carbohydrates plus sodium. These combinations multiply each other's effects. And food number 1, the one I'm saving for last, contains all three. That's why it's so deadly. Before we get there, I need to show you food number 8, because this one is going to seem like it shouldn't be on the list. And once you understand the mechanism, you'll realize why even doctors get this wrong. Food number 8 is rotisserie chicken. I know what you're thinking. Chicken is healthy, lean protein, better than red meat. Doctors recommend it. Yes, fresh chicken breast that you cook at home is healthy. But rotisserie chicken, the kind you buy already cooked from the grocery store, the kind that's sitting under the heat lamp in the deli section, the kind that smells amazing and costs $6.99, that chicken is a blood pressure disaster. Let me tell you about Diane, 73 years old, who thought she was making healthy choices. Diane bought a rotisserie chicken every week, sometimes twice a week. It was convenient, no cooking required. She'd eat it for dinner, then use the leftovers for lunch. Chicken salad, chicken sandwiches. She felt virtuous. I'm eating lean protein. I'm avoiding red meat. I'm doing what the nutritionist said. Her blood pressure was 148/88. Higher than it should be, but her doctor said it was okay for her age. We'll just monitor it. Then Diane came to me for a second opinion. I asked her to describe a typical week of meals. When she mentioned the rotisserie chicken twice a week, I immediately knew we'd found the problem. Here's what most people don't know. Rotisserie chickens are injected with a solution before cooking. It's called a marinade or a brine. It keeps the chicken moist, it adds flavor, it makes it taste better than a dry chicken breast. But that solution is loaded with sodium. One serving of rotisserie chicken, just 3 ounces, contains anywhere from 300 to 600 milligrams of sodium. That's before you add any sauce or seasoning. A full chicken breast from a rotisserie chicken can contain 900 to 1200 milligrams of sodium. That's half your daily allowance, in one piece of chicken. But here's the part that makes this even worse. The nutrition label on rotisserie chicken often doesn't tell you the truth. The label will say chicken with solution or enhanced with up to 15% solution, but it won't tell you how much sodium is actually in there. You have to call the store. You have to ask. And most people never do. Diane stopped buying rotisserie chicken. She started buying fresh chicken breasts and cooking them herself with herbs and spices, no added salt. Within 3 weeks, her blood pressure dropped to 138/82, 10 points, just from eliminating rotisserie chicken. But here's what connects this to something bigger, something that's going to become critical when I reveal food number 1. Every food we're discussing is teaching you that packaging lies, labels lie, marketing lies. Just because something is called healthy doesn't mean it is. Just because it's in the health food section doesn't mean it won't spike your blood pressure. You have to read labels. You have to ask questions. You have to understand what's actually in your food. And the foods that are coming, especially number 1, are the ones that hide their danger behind misleading labels. Let me show you food number 7, because this is where most people start to realize they've been lied to their entire lives. Food number 7 is deli meat. And this isn't just about processed meat being bad. This is about the specific mechanism by which deli meat destroys blood pressure control. Let me tell you about Thomas, 78 years old, who came to my office absolutely convinced his blood pressure medication had stopped working. At home, his readings were 162/96. In my office, 158/94, consistently elevated, dangerously high. He'd been on the same medication for 5 years. It had worked perfectly. Now suddenly it wasn't. I asked him about his diet. He said he ate healthy. Sandwiches for lunch, turkey or ham, whole wheat bread, mustard, lettuce. Very healthy, right? Wrong. Thomas was eating 4 to 6 ounces of deli meat every day, 5 days a week. Let me tell you why this is catastrophic. Deli meat is cured. That means it's been treated with salt and preservatives to make it last longer. The primary preservatives are sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate. These compounds do 2 things. First, they're sodium. They add directly to your sodium load. Second, they're vasoconstrictors. They cause blood vessels to narrow. Your heart has to pump harder. Pressure rises. One serving of deli turkey, 2 ounces, the amount you'd put on a sandwich, contains 400 to 700 milligrams of sodium. If you're making a sandwich with 4 ounces of meat, which most people do, you're getting 800 to 1400 milligrams of sodium. That's more than half your daily allowance in one sandwich, before you count the bread, the cheese, the condiments. Thomas was eating this every weekday, 5 days a week, 4,000 to 7,000 milligrams of sodium just from lunch. His kidneys couldn't keep up. His vessels were constantly constricted. His blood pressure was stuck at 160. I told Thomas to stop eating deli meat, make chicken breast at home, slice it thin, use that on sandwiches, or buy the pre-cooked chicken strips that are unsalted. Thomas was skeptical. But I don't have time to cook chicken every day. I told him, cook it once, make 5 chicken breasts on Sunday, slice them, keep them in the fridge. It takes 30 minutes once a week. Thomas agreed to try. 4 weeks later, his blood pressure was 138/84, 24 points systolic, 12 points diastolic. His medication hadn't stopped working. The deli meat had been overpowering it. But here's what Thomas's story reveals about the nature of these foods. And this is important for understanding what's coming. Most people don't know they're poisoning themselves because the food looks normal. It tastes normal. Everyone else eats it. It's socially acceptable. It's convenient. But it's destroying your cardiovascular system one sandwich at a time. And food number 1, the one that almost everyone eats, is even more socially acceptable than deli meat. It's served at every restaurant. It's in every home. And it's killing more seniors than any other food on this list. Before I show you food number 6, I need to ask you something. If what you're learning right now is valuable, if you're realizing you've been eating these foods without knowing the danger, I need you to do 2 things. First, subscribe to this channel. My mission is to give you information that most people pay thousands of dollars to learn from nutritionists and specialists. I'm giving it to you free because I believe seniors deserve access to truth. Second, share this video. Think about your family, your friends, anyone with high blood pressure. This information could prevent them from having a stroke or ending up in intensive care. Now, let me show you food number 6, and this one is going to shock you because it's something your doctor probably told you to eat. Food number 6 is canned soup, even the low-sodium varieties. Let me tell you about Ruth. Ruth was 72, petite, careful about her health. Her doctor told her to limit sodium. So Ruth started reading labels obsessively. She bought low-sodium everything. Low-sodium bread, low-sodium crackers, low-sodium soup. She ate canned soup 3 times a week. Vegetable soup, chicken noodle, tomato. All of them clearly labeled low-sodium or reduced sodium. She felt good about her choices. She was following the rules. But her blood pressure was 155/90. Her doctor increased her medication. Her pressure dropped to 148/86. Better, but still not controlled. Ruth came to me frustrated. I'm doing everything right. Why isn't it working? I asked about the soup. She showed me the cans. Campbell's low-sodium chicken noodle. The label said 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. That seems reasonable, right? Wrong. Here's what Ruth didn't understand. A serving size for soup is half a cup, 8 ounces. The can contains 19 ounces. Ruth was eating the entire can because that's a normal portion. Nobody eats half a cup of soup. If you eat the entire can, you're getting 330 milligrams of sodium. And that's the low-sodium version. The regular version would give you 1,800 milligrams per can. But even the low-sodium version was adding 330 milligrams 3 times a week. Plus, here's what the label doesn't tell you. Soup is liquid. Liquid sodium absorbs faster than solid sodium. It hits your bloodstream within 20 to 30 minutes. Your blood pressure spikes quickly. If Ruth had eaten a solid food with the same amount of sodium, the spike would have been slower, gentler. But liquid sodium is immediate. Ruth stopped eating canned soup. She started making soup at home. Fresh vegetables, chicken, herbs, no added salt. After 1 month, her blood pressure was 142/84, 13 points lower, just from eliminating 3 cans of low-sodium soup per week. Now let me show you food number 5, and this is where we start getting into the psychological triggers that make blood pressure spike beyond just the food itself. Food number 5 is bread, not just any bread, store-bought sliced bread. white, wheat, doesn't matter. Let me tell you about Edward, 74 years old, who ate 2 sandwiches every day, one at lunch, one as a snack in the afternoon. He used whole wheat bread because his doctor said whole grains are heart healthy. His blood pressure was 165/98, severely elevated. His doctor had him on 3 medications, still not controlled. When I asked about his diet, he insisted he ate healthy. No fried food, no red meat, lots of vegetables. Then I asked specifically about bread. 2 sandwiches a day, sometimes 3. Each sandwich used 2 slices of bread, 4 to 6 slices of bread per day. Here's what Edward didn't know. 1 slice of store-bought bread contains 120 to 200 milligrams of sodium. 2 slices, 240 to 400 milligrams. If you're eating 6 slices a day, that's 720 to 1200 milligrams just from bread, before you count what's between the slices. But here's where it gets worse. Bread isn't just sodium, it's refined carbohydrates. Even whole wheat bread is refined compared to actual whole grains. When you eat refined carbs, your blood sugar spikes. Insulin spikes. Insulin causes sodium retention. Your blood vessels constrict. Blood pressure rises. Edward was getting a double hit. Sodium from the bread, insulin response from the refined carbs. His blood pressure never had a chance to normalize. I told Edward to cut his bread intake in half. 1 sandwich per day, maximum. Replace the afternoon sandwich with a salad or fruit. 2 months later, his blood pressure was 148/88, 17 points lower. Still high, but finally responding to medication. But here's what Edward's story teaches us about mistake number 1. If you're eating food number 1, even if you've eliminated bread, soup, deli meat, vegetable juice, and rotisserie chicken, food number 1 will still spike your pressure high enough to cause a stroke. Because food number 1 contains more sodium, more sugar, more refined carbs, more inflammatory compounds than all of these combined. Let me show you food number 4. And this one is going to surprise you because most people think it's healthy. Food number 4 is breakfast cereal. All breakfast cereal. Even the ones marketed to adults. Even the ones with whole grain stamps. Let me tell you about Patricia, 70 years old, whose story illustrates why this matters so much. Patricia ate cereal every morning. Cheerios, Raisin Bran, Special K, all of them marketed as heart healthy, all of them recommended by nutritionists. Her blood pressure was chaotic. One day 138/80, next day 156/94, then 142/84. She couldn't figure out what was causing these wild swings. Neither could her doctor. I had Patricia keep a food diary, detailed, everything she ate, time, amount. After 2 weeks, I saw the pattern. On days she ate 1 cup of cereal, her afternoon blood pressure was normal. On days she ate 2 cups or added sugar or used a high-sodium cereal, her afternoon pressure was elevated. Here's what was happening. Breakfast cereal is a sodium delivery system disguised as health food. 1 cup of Cheerios contains 140 milligrams of sodium. That's the plain version. Honey Nut Cheerios, 190 milligrams. Raisin Bran, 210 milligrams. Special K, 220 milligrams. If you eat 2 cups, which most people do because 1 cup is a tiny portion, you're getting 280 to 440 milligrams of sodium. Plus, cereal is refined carbs. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin spikes, sodium retention increases, pressure rises. Then you add milk. 1 cup of milk contains 120 milligrams of sodium. Now you're at 400 to 560 milligrams total. From breakfast, before 8 a.m., Patricia switched to steel-cut oats with no salt, fresh berries, a splash of unsweetened almond milk. Her blood pressure stabilized at 136/82. Consistent, no more wild swings. All from eliminating breakfast cereal. Now let me show you food number 3. And we're getting very close to the most dangerous food of all. Food number 3 is cheese. Not just any cheese. Processed cheese, cheese slices, string cheese, cream cheese, anything that comes individually wrapped. Let me tell you about Vincent, 71, whose story illustrates why this matters. Vincent loved cheese. Cheese and crackers as a snack. Cream cheese on his bagel, string cheese in his lunch, cheese slices on his sandwich. Every single day. His blood pressure was 170/100. Severe. His doctor was shocked. How could someone on 2 blood pressure medications still be this high? We implemented a protocol. I asked Vincent to eliminate all cheese for 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. See what happens. Vincent was miserable. Cheese was his comfort food. But he agreed. First week, his blood pressure dropped to 158/92. Second week, 148/88. By week 3, 142/84. 28 points systolic, 16 points diastolic. From eliminating cheese. Here's why cheese is so dangerous. It's concentrated milk. It takes 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese. All the sodium in that milk gets concentrated. 1 ounce of cheddar cheese contains 174 milligrams of sodium. 1 ounce of American cheese, 377 milligrams. 1 ounce of feta, 316 milligrams. If you're eating 2 ounces of cheese per day, which is very common, you're getting 350 to 750 milligrams of sodium just from cheese. But here's the critical point. Cheese is also high in saturated fat. Saturated fat increases inflammation in blood vessels. Inflamed vessels are stiffer. Stiffer vessels mean higher pressure. Cheese hits you 3 ways: sodium, saturated fat, concentrated calories that lead to weight gain, and weight gain raises blood pressure. Now let me show you food number 2, and we've arrived at the threshold. Food number 2 is going to prepare you for food number 1 because they work through the same mechanism, but food number 1 is 10 times worse. Food number 2 is frozen meals. All frozen meals. Even the ones labeled healthy or low-calorie or heart-smart. Let me tell you about Alice, 76, whose story brings us to the edge of understanding food number 1. Alice was careful. She read labels. She bought frozen meals marked heart-healthy and low-sodium. Lean cuisine, healthy choice, smart ones. She ate them 5 nights a week. Convenient, portion-controlled, doctor-approved labels all over the box. Her blood pressure was 162/96. Her doctor kept increasing medication. Nothing worked. I asked Alice to bring me the boxes from her frozen meals. I read every label. Here's what I found. The meals ranged from 470 to 680 milligrams of sodium per meal. But the serving sizes were tiny. 8 ounces, 10 ounces. Nobody feels full after eating 8 ounces. Alice admitted she often ate 1.5 meals or added a side. Now she was consuming 700 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium per dinner. But here's what the labels don't tell you. Frozen meals aren't just high in sodium. They're high in preservatives. Phosphates. These compounds cause blood vessels to calcify. Calcified vessels are rigid. They can't dilate properly. Blood pressure stays elevated even when sodium is reduced. Alice stopped eating frozen meals. She started cooking simple dinners: chicken breast, steamed vegetables, brown rice. Within 6 weeks, her blood pressure dropped to 144/86, 18 points lower. Now you know 9 foods. You understand why each one is dangerous. You understand how they spike blood pressure through different mechanisms: sodium, sugar, refined carbs, saturated fat, preservatives. And you understand that food number 1 combines all of these into a single catastrophic package. Are you ready? Here it is. Food number 1 is pizza. Restaurant pizza, frozen pizza, delivery pizza, all pizza. Let me tell you why this is the single most dangerous food for blood pressure. And let me tell you about George, 77, because his story brings everything together. George ate pizza twice a week. Friday night, Sunday afternoon. He'd been doing this for 30 years. It was tradition. Family time, comfort. He ordered from the same place every time. 2 slices each meal, sometimes 3. His blood pressure was 178/102, critically high. He was on 4 medications. Nothing controlled it. His doctor was considering adding a 5th medication or admitting him to the hospital.